Serious. That ball was on the
Did that work?
Did you hear that?
I
That's a good.
briefly heard that. Was that John McEnroe?
Yeah, that was a good start. We're doing it again. Hang on.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
Ah, yes, there we are. Now, Duck, I'm not asking you where you are, but I'll tell you, I'm up at the Atherton Tablelands, and I can make myself look as though I've had a peroxide fix in my hair by doing that,
You look
or I
like
can lean
Ghost.
into.
You look like Patrick
Hey,
Swayze off Ghost.
he's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, but you're alive. You're alive and kicking. That was a show that took on. That was the show that took on your footy show back in the day.
Oh, alive and kicking. That's correct. Yeah, no. Um, Duck, as I say, I'm not asking where you are. So but we're up at the Atherton Tablelands. So is everything going all right?
Well, you know what? Couldn't be better where I am, Sam. No one knows who you are, whether
No
it's
one
live
what?
or no one knows who you are in where I am, who I am. Just what a beautiful part of the world this is. A little
Well, I've
bit
just told you
overcome.
where I am.
Yes, well, I'm not telling you where I am.
No, I understand.
I'm
Unless
not
you
that
want
I'm.
to
I'm
proffer
not
that
exactly.
information.
I'm not on. I'm not the Australia's most wanted at the minute, but just
You've just withdrawn from the public arena for the time being, just to gather yourself.
so. And what a beautiful holiday. Anyone that wants to escape from reality, take 4 children, put them on a plane, and if you think you're escaping from reality, you're kidding yourself.
So you've got on a plane with your 4 children, and you've left the country.
Well, I'm not going to be on banged up abroad.
Well, if you want to escape from reality, why don't you get an essential Highlander caravan and tow it up to the middle of Australia and have a chat to all the locals and the very nice
Mate,
people up here?
that's a very good point you make. That's my next. That's what I'm going to do because
Yeah.
it's far too easy for us. No, and I mean this. And let's talk about your caravanning experience because what we all do school holidays. The reason why it's not school holidays is because you want to get outside of mainstream. So that's why I pulled the kids out of school, Sam, and said,
Yeah.
let's do it now. One, because it's not as busy. Two, we'll make it educational. So I won't tell you where I am, but I will say I did a project on the place I'm in, and I got a B, one of my very few Bs
You
for a
did a
project.
project on it.
I did a project on the country that I'm in, and I got a B.
What are you doing? Extracurricular activity? What are you doing? Are you
You have to
doing
if
a
you
course?
no. Well, if you take your children away on
Yeah.
outside of school time because they're meant to be in school right now, you've got to sort of make it educational. So you teach them about where you are, what the history of the country is, and what our relevance to that country is, and we yeah. So today, and we just got here late last night, which is why I'm a little dusty. Might have been because no,
Don't tell me, please don't.
no, I didn't. Um, but you teach them a little bit of relevance about the country, and yeah, so make it educational.
So
And
you've researched where you are, and you've told them, and you've just filled them in on the relevance of the
I
country
didn't
that
have
you're
to.
living in to the one that you're visiting.
Well, given that I'm in my late 30s, I didn't have to. I didn't have. I didn't have to educate myself on the topic. I'd already done that when I was a young person, and yeah,
Have
so I
you
know a
been to
fair bit
bed?
about the place. The other
Have you
thing
been
that
to bed since you arrived?
I have, and the kids, by the way, wanted to come up here and be involved in this podcast, and
Well,
Jess
hasn't
said,
stopped them in the past.
yeah, no, I know, but Jess said no one said to. I'm just waiting for a beautiful tomato juice. So just so you know, I'm up by the pool area. If I can just, you can
So you're obviously at a swank resort somewhere.
Swank. I wouldn't say it's
Swank.
well.
I didn't say wank. I said
We
swank.
should give it a plug. Oh, we won't say where, but the
Oh, yeah, give it a plug. That won't tell you where you are.
no, well, it won't. We're at
Like the Bangkok Hilton. No, that wouldn't tell you where you are.
no, exactly. No, Sofitel. We're at a Sofitel.
A Sofitel.
A Sofitel.
In an
Right.
Asian country or a American
Yes,
country?
no. We're in an Asian country. At a Sofitel we're in, and I rolled up last night, Samuel,
Yeah.
and they had a cake with kangaroos on it. They even had my number. You don't know this. Number 18 on the cake. Welcome to the Sofitel. Like it was anyway. It was a very good welcome. The cake itself wasn't at its best. I had a little bit. I thought it was.
The cake wasn't at its best. Well, there's a nice backhanded compliment to the Sofitel.
It was. I thought it was a vanilla double cream soup. I know Sue will appreciate this, but it had a little bit of orange in it, which the kids not overly fancied by. Sam.
This is the most unusual first 5 minutes of a podcast I've ever done. You've gone out of your way to tell us where you're not. You've given you've given the Sofitel a nice belting. You've said that the cake wasn't.
No, the Sofitel. No,
and you were still trying to do it low key, and you said they've given you a cake and a bottle of champagne. You better mention the name of the Sofitel. No, don't mention that.
It's called the Sofitel, Sam. It's not a puzzle.
Now, Doug, have you caught up with anything that's been...
Now, are you, during this podcast, how I'm on the other side of the world. You're almost on the other side of the world, but in the same country. And every time you put your head back, you look like Patrick Swayze. Yes, off Ghost. So.
Well, that's because it's beautiful sun up here, and
I know, and the sun's coming. The sun is coming. Oh, look at you! You're better looking by the minute.
You haven't had any sleep. You've had a fair night, I reckon. You've had some drinks, haven't you?
I've had plenty of sleep. What you're going to realise is we're on a time difference here, Sam. So unlike you, which is you've been up parading around the caravan park like you're a spring chicken. We've actually just all woken up. The kids are all over me. I'm up here. I've just ordered myself. This is opening here, which is fantastic. Good to know that they open at this time of day. So what time is it here? Just so you know, it's 6:14 here, a.m.
I see. So you're 3 hours behind us.
That's exactly right.
So
that gives you some indication where I am. But I could be in Perth.
I reckon I can narrow down the Sofitel that's 3 hours behind us. That's in Malaysia.
Well,
anyhow,
I could be in Thailand. Yes.
So you're in the Sofitel in Thailand, eh?
I might, mate.
He said, "Don't mention where I am because I'm just going low cognito." And then you said that they've given you a cake and a number and your champagne and dear.
Anyway, gentlemen, the reason. So I got here and there's a man called Sam. Oh, there we go. This gentleman's made me up a beautiful concoction.
Sue, could I just tell you, Sue's standing on top of the truck that I'm driving,
and
holding
for those,
a towel over the top of the canopy here so the sun doesn't go on me. Get down.
You know what,
Sue?
Yourself. Do you wake up every morning, Sam? I just want to ask you this because I wake up. I had the kids jumping all over me just 15 minutes ago. Dad, do you wake up every morning and thankful that Sue's there? Surely.
Taking a photo of her. She's sitting on top of the roof of the truck holding a towel up to shade the sun so that you can see me properly.
I know, because that's what you know what? She's 1 in a million, Sue.
Yeah, thanks, Doc.
Did you hear that? Thanks, Duck. She said she's only the production quality. She's very, very conscious about the production quality. And if it's no good, people around and say, "Oh, I couldn't understand you and I couldn't see you." Mind you, I don't reckon a lot of people have understood our first 10 minutes today.
No, I think they're sitting there. If they're having a little bit of when you wake up, you're a little bit foggy. They're going, you know what? That's exactly how
I'm
I'm
not.
feeling this
I'm
morning.
not foggy. I'm as sharp as a tack.
And nor am I. Do you want me to go for a swim?
Now,
I'm being a
Duck.
little.
Now,
Yes,
let's tell me this. I've
my
got two
legs are
things.
going a million. My legs are going a million miles an hour under the water, but I'm acting calm on tops. Of
I've got two questions. I've got a whole lot of questions to ask you, but if we could
course, you have.
move on from our own personal uh, trials and tribulations. If you were the captain
If I
of
was,
what?
I was. Yes.
I know you were, but this is now a hypothetical situation, Duck. If you were the captain of an AFL side and you had been removed from the ground because you were injured, would you eat a kebab on the bench? Would you eat a kebab on the bench while your side was unfortunately beating your side? Geelong was beating North Melbourne by 100 points. Would you sit on the bench eating a kebab? That's all I'm asking you.
I love,
There's
I
not
love, I love Paddy Dangerfield. Paddy Dangerfield will go down, Sam.
what?
Just excuse me. Just turn that down just a touch. Can you just turn that down just a touch?
Can you believe
Can
it?
you turn down just a touch, please? Given that I'm the only one here, I feel like I have control of the. Thank you, sir. Um, now, it had a degree of contempt about it.
Had a degree
Now,
of what?
contempt.
Contempt.
Yes. Now,
Extraordinary lack of self-awareness.
yeah. Well, same, right? Same. Look, I love Paddy Dangerfield. I don't think. Look, it was an unusual look. Someone eating kebab on the bench. I mean, the fact that he was even hungry, that he was just taken off, sort of surprising as well because he
That is
just
a very good point. That was my first reaction. I don't give a stuff what he eats. Why would you eat a kebab? Why would you find it necessary for someone to go out to Muhammad's kebab store or whatever and bring a kebab on and eat it while your side is arrogantly belting uh,
yes, correct,
another
correct,
side and you're the captain?
and
No, it
that's what
is.
I
It
mean.
is.
That's what I mean by contempt. It had a element of that. You're not that starving that you need to do it. So it had a little bit of that. Look, yeah, and no one's really picked up on it. I'm glad you have because it's funny because we're old school. We sort of tend to think in a similar vein when it comes to those type of things. He probably could have waited until he was in the car or in the rooms to do that, not on the bench, but and especially when you're winning by 100 points. Exactly
Uh,
right.
Honestly, if I was, not that I was ever taken off the ground, but if I was taken off the ground and I was the captain, I tell you what, it'd be pretty interesting how the side's going, and I might be giving someone beside me some advice or having a chat, not sitting back. It's a wonder they didn't have some tables and chairs and have a lager or a pilsner on hand, because that's what you wash a kebab down with. Mind you, they've got good form because do you remember Mark Thompson ate a hamburger while he was actually coaching while the game was going? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. I
He
do.
was actually coaching in the box while the game was going and he's eating a hamburger.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Well, they're
and once
hayseeds we are
well
down there.
that shows all that it does is that whether you agree with it or not, it just shows a little bit of lack of um,
Arrogance and pomposity.
yes, well, yes, it just shows a little bit of that, and I don't think Paddy's in that category. I think he, like I said, whether why he would choose to decide that he needed to do that on the ground with and knowing full well that everything he does, just a bit like you, Sam,
Not
everything
like
he
me.
does or we do is going to be magnified. Just like I'm drinking out. By the way, this is tomato juice. By the way, because you know what it does.
I've never seen tomato juice come with a stick of celery and a little umbrella and some Worcestershire sauce on the top of it.
Sam,
That's a bloody.
Sam,
That is a bloody Mary.
Sam. See that there? And it was the biggest font they could use.
That is not a tomato juice. Why has it got a stick of
It
celery
is
and
tomato
some?
juice. It hasn't got a stick of celery. It's got lime on it. They put lime on everything over here.
So, anyhow, was that the day
Now,
that
but then you go to, now let's go to a good feel story, Sam. So you've
feel
got
good story, Duck?
a feel good story. So then you've got Ross Lyon, and someone's taken video footage, without probably his consent, but someone's taken video footage of Ross with Nasiah Wanganeen Miller on his shoulders, and they celebrating the win that they had the other day. By the way, like they kicked 9 goals in a quarter, Sam. You know, I love that
I
they're
haven't got onto
celebrating.
that. You wait till we get onto that in a minute.
But they kicked 9. They kicked 9 goals in a quarter. We used to do that every week, but
Yeah, go on.
no, it's the greatest comeback in AFL in recent times in 20 team competition. Oh, not 20 team, but
Says a lot about Melbourne.
it does. But and that's so. He's on Ross's shot. Ross Lyon, you know, I love, a bit like you. I love Ross Lyon. I think he's a genius. I think what he's done at that footy club, if he was at Carlton,
Yeah.
if he'd got the job at Carlton, they would have already won a flag, blah, blah, blah. So people know that I'm a fan, so they're going to take it with a grain of salt. I think that what people and what everyone has done and all the footy shows have done, Sam, which I find quite amusing. Melbourne dominated for 3 quarters, so they made St Kilda look absolutely stupid for 3 quarters, and yet everyone's focusing obviously on the last quarter. St Kilda looked absolutely putrid for 3 quarters, and now everyone's focusing on the 1 quarter, and Wanganeen Miller, as they should. He was brilliant. He's got talent like you wouldn't believe. Like probably half. Wanganeen Miller's talent is probably there was probably about 50 of those
Yeah.
guys
So
running
he's
around.
talented. Where was he for the first 3 quarters?
He's my point. So no, well he didn't have the best first 3 quarters, but it doesn't matter what you do, Sam. It's you can grab a game by the scruff of the neck and win it. He's a very special talent. A very, very special talent.
Yes. Go on.
Now I want to get to your point, because I feel like I'm being positive.
Yeah, but I haven't got to my point yet.
No, because I feel like there's a negativity coming along.
Yeah, right. Am I giving you the negativity?
Yes, you are.
Tell me this. When this is the self-awareness of the coaching people or the people who had got their head up their ass on the ground, when it was apparent that there were too many people in the circle or whatever, and they reversed the free kick, wouldn't you reckon you would be accountable for someone on that ground and go and grab them so no one could kick the ball to them, so that you could take a mark on your own in the dying 5 seconds of a game? There is no accountability in this game. It's just a game of handball and touch football. It's like basketball. They just chip it round. No one is responsible for anyone they play on. And to come back from 9 goals down, you honestly, you've got to have your head up your ass, either off the bench running that club or on it playing. It is ridiculous.
Well, when you can, there was a lot of confusion around the actual rule itself, but even the rule itself, if you look behind the ground vision, apparently someone's meant to be with the 666 I'm talking about. You have to have someone in the goal square. Then when the free kick was paid, you'd see Wanganeen Malera saying, all move to one side. They all moved. Everyone, the defenders, which normally, so imagine playing against Geelong, and you got some of the, imagine Matthew Scarlett and these guys. They would have just gone, mate, They would have stood on the inside of their opponent. They would have. You know what they're doing? They're watching the ball, not their opponent. They're watching what's
This is my
occurring.
point, Duck. No one in this game is accountable. Every game you watch, there's people loose everywhere. All the backmen, all the forwards flood down to the back line to flood it, and they leave half the ground open, and they chip the ball around, and eventually, by fluke or by design, someone kicks a goal. It is just not a methodical way to play football, and the people running the clubs and coaching and all the strategists, honestly, they're getting their money under false pretenses.
There's an element that I agree with. I think that a lot of what they do, I think there's a lot of jobs that are given out and justifiable by how many hours they put in, Sam, not justifiable by how much common sense prevails.
And if there was confusion, why is the confusion? Couldn't the people running the game, like the umpires, say, now we're paying a free kick because the they just threw the ball to them and on they went. No one had any idea.
Now,
We are
Max,
running a dinky little competition at the bottom of a dinky little country.
no, you know, I disagree with that. We are a small country in comparison to the rest of the world, but we have the best competition in the world. Compromised competition, albeit, and we talk about the compromises in this great game that we have. In saying that, it's still the best game in the world, Sam. I will argue that with you until until we're both in the.
Okay, so we have 4 umpires running a game who have no idea about the competitive aspect of sport. We have sides that don't play each other twice in the 1 year. We have a contrived final system. We have a break in between. We have players. We have, honestly, we have a game which is I don't care what anyone says, it's disintegrated into a non-attractive spectacle. Sure, some of the games are exciting. That game was exciting when St Kilda got up and beat Melbourne. It was exciting in the last 5 seconds of the game. The rest of it was absolute nonsense, and it's played in a very, very ordinary fashion. The players are skillful, all that sort of stuff, but no one is in fear of any going into a pack. No one takes any marks over their head. No one kicks goals properly. No one. It is. They're not allowed to tackle people. We become a passive, bystanding, puerile game.
I am listening to you, by the way. You know, I would never be disrespectful and not listen. So for those who are watching me looking at my phone, I take photos of things. I take photos of things because I say I've got to bring this up with Sam. And we are going to speak to, just for those out there listening, we are going to speak to Tess in about
Yes, we're meant to do it today.
No, we weren't meant to do it today, Big Snap. We're going to do it, we're going to speak to Tess in about 5 or 6 weeks, and she's going to talk about, we're going to try to fix you, we're going to try to fix your hell-bent crusade on Welcome to Country. But I often take photos of all of these different things that I find on Twitter. What do they call it? X these days?
Yep.
Well,
What's it say?
Welcome to country means you are being welcomed to a particular part of Australia by a representative of the people who have traditionally lived in that part of Australia for tens of thousands of years. It's not complicated, Sam. And if you choose to be offended by it, you are nasty, dumb, or both. That's why I don't
wish to be welcome.
Can I read that again? Again?
Because this is just activism.
Just let me read it. Welcome to country means you are being welcomed to a particular part of Australia by a representative of the people who have traditionally lived in that part of Australia for tens of thousands of years. It's not complicated. And if you choose to be offended by it, you are nasty, dumb, or both.
Yeah. It is.
What do you
say?
What? What do you say to that?
What I've said all along. It is not a traditional welcome. It is a thing that has been designed by activists. There's no such word as welcome to country in the Aboriginal lingo. It has never been part of any welcome at all until the activists got onto it. Ernie Dingo started it as a joke when he welcomed some Maori entertainers back in the 70s. They did the haka and he said, "Welcome to my country." And then it's, hang on.
He was a great actor.
Well, I'm not saying he wasn't. He's a great man.
Yes.
Hey, the number of great people, Aboriginals, I've met on this trip up here who are relaxed about the life they lead. They have no problems. They are very friendly. They get on with life. And the further you go south, like into our state, the more you have the white the white elite pushing all this bullshit to you. There is no need for someone to come out and welcome you to a country where it is our country just because you were here before the people who settled here. As I said, you should give thanks for the people who arrived here and built this country, and you should respect the people who are here before it. You don't have to have a lecture about whose country it is and what the names of it all. There was no names for any of the countries until the white people
You're,
named them, and then they all changed them into Aboriginal names. They didn't have names in the first place.
you know what? You're the more I, so you're coming up for your 80th birthday.
Yes,
You're a very handsome man, Sam.
but
There's no but.
tell me this. Tell me
Yes.
this. The puerile, pathetic state government we have in Victoria. They've spent the best part of $400 million trying to activate a treaty for the Yaruk Commission, which recommends redemption payments and payments for what they can call a genocide in the 1700s and 1800s. Do you think we could move on? Does it mean anything to those people who are no longer here and we're here? Does it mean anything? How about they concentrate? We've done a plebiscite on the yes no vote, but they still keep going on. And Jacinta Allen, that sheep, she says, we've been on a long and steady journey to reparations and making things right. How long do you have to go on? Jacinta Price. How about this? Jacinta Price said, "Welcome to country is just a completely nonsensical thing. It doesn't mean anything." And then you had a Malaysian-born lesbian called Penny Wong. I'm an Australian-born heterosexual, and I'm saying to Penny Wong, keep your butt out of telling Jacinta Price that welcome to country is a worthwhile thing. If she thinks it's not a worthwhile thing, what right have you got to tell her? Just butt out. Your opinions are irrelevant, and they're arrogant, and they're just not required. Why we give? Don't you get embarrassed? Don't you get embarrassed when you said that we go to the trade deals with the AFL, and every trade deal, every club has to bow their head and welcome people to the room in the name of what?
Yeah.
First Nations people. If you're here in 1900, you're a First Nations person. That's when we became a nation.
The more when you travel, Sam, and you know this as well, you're travelling through the great country that is Australia. And the more you travel and the more you speak to people, and spoke to a few people last night that love you, love the podcast, love Sue, by the way. Sue's gathering a fan base just off the back of keeping you in line, and also being an Australian
Star in their own right.
Order of Australia. I know we've spoken about this before, but Sue came down to North Melbourne in the 90s and trained us boys. As you can imagine, we were in the midst of our physical peakness, and Sue was at her peak. And when she came down to training, we were that excited to have Sue Stanley come to our football club, and now this beautiful lady's keeping you in line, which is probably more difficult than doing any physical activity, to be honest.
The welcome to country is a rort, and it's promoted by activists who think there's a quid in it. And it is that man that you read out there. That is just such a glib. It's taken. How long has it
That
taken
wasn't a
people to
man,
work
by the
out
way. It
what
was
they
a
should say about standing and bowing our head to whom? The country wouldn't be here if someone hadn't arrived in 1770 or 17. It wouldn't be here. And we want to give thanks to everyone, the great people who live in it, black, white, and blue, whatever colour they are, and why we have to suffer the indignity and the embarrassment and the cringeworthy bullshit people spout out about places we've never heard of that are not relevant to anyone living in this country at the minute. It is bullshit.
no. So so. Do you want to talk a little bit of footy?
Yes, well, I was started on
Do
that.
you have that on your list? Do you have that on your list? How long have we been going for? 30. No, we've got time. I want to talk a little bit of footy because what I want to say, we're about to come into a final series. Sam, we say this every year, by the way, and I'm guilty of it. So for all those out there that don't understand, but I think it's the most open sea. Anyone can win the premiership. Anyone that makes the top eight, obviously, because if you don't make the top eight, you don't qualify for the finals. But any team that finishes in the top eight can win the grand final. Your thoughts?
Yes, anyone can, because no one has any discipline the way they play football. No one picks anyone up. No one minds anyone. They don't have a team strategy. They just chip the ball around and hope someone can take a mark eventually over their head or get on the boundary line and kick one of those banana kicks. There is no strategy in playing the game. There are no great power forwards. They might be, but no one ever kicks the ball to them. There are no anything. It is just a
Well,
dribbling
well,
maul of players running round with their heads like chooks cut off.
Jeremy Cameron, who will go down as one of the greats of the game, and
Will
simple
he?
facts are he will. He'll go down as one of the greats. Kicked 11 goals. Kicked 11 goals against North Melbourne, albeit against North Melbourne. A bit like when I kicked 11 against Melbourne back in the 90s. It doesn't count. I kicked 10 against Essendon, which did count because at the time they were a very good team. So you take that into account. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
has Tess's.
the 11 against Melbourne, I'm just talking personally, it doesn't account. We won that game very handsomely. The 10 I kicked against Essendon, we lost. But what I'm saying is that 10 was because it was against a better opponent at the time. So Jeremy Cameron kicks 11 against North Melbourne on the weekend. I I didn't sit down and watch the whole game for obvious reasons because it was a not a great spectacle.
Oh,
I'm
wasn't it?
I, the I saw six of his goals without, like I said, without watching the whole game. Six of the goals were all he was on his own. He was given a handball, or he
This
won the.
is my point, Duck. He's a great
Yes,
player. Don't get carried away by someone kicking 11 goals when the side gets beaten by 100 points and no one is accountable. Wouldn't you think you'd have someone play on that man or be aware of where he is instead of chasing kicks?
no. So I just and it's like the Paddy Dangerfield. So Jack Gunston, you know who Jack Gunston is? Plays for Hawthorn. Went
Yes,
to
I know.
Brisbane 3 years ago. He was in Brisbane. Could not get a game for Brisbane. Right? He was not getting a game. He's come back to Hawthorn. He's their leading goal kicker this year. Does that not tell you how diluted this competition is?
You keep just reinforcing my point. It sounds like I'm knocking the game that has made me into, well, the gibbering idiot I am. It's made you what you are. We love this game, but it is in decline. I don't care what you say. It is not the game it used to be. There is just the strategy of playing our game and the skills of it are just non-existent. And I don't care what anyone says, and they can say it's exciting and they want to crank it up and it is not, and it's umpired. The umpiring is so cringeworthy. It is embarrassing to be a male footballer today, ex-male footballer, watching how our game is umpired. Honestly, it is pathetic. It is puerile and childish. And I'll tell
When
you
you
one good thing about the competition, that the Swans won't make the grand final again. If I have to watch the Swans play one more grand final, they lost 80 points to Geelong in 2022. They lost last year by as many. Thank God they're not playing.
no, they're not. But the women are about to start, Sam.
Who cares?
Oh, come on.
No, mate, please. I'm not knocking the women. We've had this conversation before. If the women want to play football, it's fantastic. Does anyone go and watch it? Does it rate?
It
Does
will.
anyone?
I think it. I think it will. You
It
know what?
doesn't. It doesn't.
If Sam Newman and Duck say watch the AFL women's. By the way, your beautiful partner Sue, like a world champion athlete, right?
Yes.
Now, so let's get. So I'm now going to put you on the spot because I know you're uh, Sue's obviously right there. I'm going to put you on the spot. Her sport is.
Sue is sitting on the roof of the van that we're driving and holding
I
a
know she's
towel
doing all the
over
walk. She's
the
doing all the
sun
work.
shades.
She's doing all the
What?
work. She's doing all the work, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
What I'm saying is,
I'm watching her now. She's up above
what I'm
me
saying
playing
is
it.
aerobics in any
Yes,
time
world
as
aerobic champion 3 times. Yes.
exactly right. Now, I know that. I respect that. You respect that because we know what it takes to be that. What I'm saying is, but not a billion people, Sam. Not a billion people tune in to aerobics. Now,
Duck,
so
I'm not
so to go
saying that.
back on your point, what we've got to celebrate is now. By the way, and it's dropped off because of Pilates and yoga and all these different things, and they thinking that's better. I would argue, just put your head down and your bum up and do a bit of exercise, rather than just swandle around on a little machine and say you've done some exercise. But that's just no. But that's just me. Point being is, and I'm putting it back on you because I know Sue can.
Please,
What I'm saying
quickly
is
put it back on me.
because just because they don't have a million viewers every week, we have to continue to support the activity and the contribution and the participation of young girls into young women that are in sport. And that's
I
what,
I
yes,
have just said that, Duck. I said it's fantastic that young girls and women play AFL football. All I said was no one cares. They don't watch it. It
we
doesn't
do
rate.
care
They lose
because,
money.
well,
No one cares if the game is
hang on.
starting.
So did you
If
care? Did you care about Sue's profession before you knew Sue? And that's a serious question.
I said no one cares if it is
No, did you care?
televised.
Did you care for someone at Sue's level? This is a serious question. At Sue's level, did you care for that profession and for the people that?
Well, if you
Well,
become a
no.
world
And you say no, but then listen. I'm putting it back onto you now. Sue is a world champion. Yes, and
three times
yes, correct. And I knew Sue
in a
back.
limited sporting endeavour.
Correct. But what I'm saying is that's like AFL women and like AFL rugby and not AFL rugby, sorry, rugby women, all of those things that women are involved in. Did you would you did you give consideration now? It is about participation. It's
Duck,
about achieving.
did you think that the two girls who won the kayak gold medal in the last Olympics were fantastic?
Yes, Jess was one of them.
Did you think the two
Jess Fox,
girls?
Jess Fox, Jess
Yes.
Fox.
Did you think they were fantastic?
Yes.
Yes, of course. They're fantastic and we admire them and we congratulate them. How many people go kayaking on a weekly basis up in the rapids up near Mount Buller? A busload.
No, can you see my hand?
Yeah, none. It's irrelevant. I'm not saying the women aren't fantastic. It's great that they're part of it. I'm saying no one cares if the competition
Can you
starts or
can
not
you ask
or
Sue?
succeed.
Can I? And this is a serious question. Can you ask Sue? three-time world aerobics champion. When she was, and aerobics was a big thing. As aerobics dropped off, picked up, is it still a thing? Like, can you just get a, where is the beautiful Sue? Or is she on the roof still working?
To get sport onto TV, you need to stump up the money, mate. Then the competition and these networks are not going to play sport that doesn't engender and doesn't attract financial support. Except for the AFWL, which doesn't attract financial support, but they go on because it's woke, because it's joined to the AFL, and we're pushing this DEI nonsense, and it's great that they play, and it's fantastic, but no one goes and watches it, no one turns up at the ground to watch it, and the people are fantastic, but you're talking about two completely different things. You go to the Olympics, you say aerobics. Well, what about breakdancing and that stupid woman that? Honestly, what about the speed skater? Who you can bring all archery, you can bring all those things into it. But no one watches it unless it's the Olympics, and we've got
Have
an
you watched?
Australian in the archery. We'll watch
Have
that
you
until the bloody
have you
sun
have you
comes
watched?
down.
Have you watched Happy Gilmore 2 yet?
Oh,
Happy Gilmore 2.
Happy Gilmore too.
Have you watched it?
Is that Adam Sandler?
Yes. Have you watched it? No,
No,
obviously not.
no, I haven't watched that.
Well,
Why?
no, I'm just the sequel's not normally better than the original.
How did we get onto that?
Because I'll tell you how we got onto that. It's because you're talking about watching things and for
Duck,
yes, yes.
please. Now, Duck, what about this? I'm just going to quickly mention these two things. The North Melbourne president, Sonia Hood,
Sonia.
was a what?
I said
What?
Sonia. Yes. I said Sonia. Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm giving her a whole name. I don't know her well enough to call her Sonia.
Miss Hood
Backed Alistair,
to you. Miss
back,
Hood to you.
backed Alistair Clarkson when he became the coach, and Nick Rewald said that it was a bit sycophantic, obsequious to give so much credit, and you can't believe this sad and miserable and unhappy woman called Caroline Wilson said it was bordering on being sexist, saying that she was sycophantic. Is there any? Is
Did
there any?
Caroline say that? Did she?
Yes, and
Was
and
she?
Rewald
Was
an
I would
apology for
argue
saying
was hang on. She was hang on. She was saying Sonia was sycophantic.
she said Nick Rewald calling said that Sonia Hood giving so much gushing so much over the appointment
I
of
get it.
and
Was
he said
sycophantic.
it was a bit
I know.
sycophantic.
I know the phrase and I know the meaning of it and everything else. I would.
Well, why is that sexist? That you can't have an opinion about what you think someone said without people like this sad, miserable person? Is there
Who
anything
said that? Who said that? Who's?
Caroline Wilson, who
Oh,
it was
Caroline. Caroline used to. I mean, let's be honest. Caroline's dad was a great president of the Richmond Football Club, and you could use that same phrase for Caroline wandering around the bleachers of that football club um, for a long
what
period of
happened.
time.
Yes.
Hey,
Well, anyhow, so I'm just saying.
so
Uh,
what I'm just saying.
every
No,
time she disagrees with something, you're either racist or sexist, or you're becoming homophobic. It's impossible to actually
it's
make a
only
statement.
it's only good if it satisfies their example of what they're trying to set, not the example that they've been setting.
What a very good statement. Activists do a lot of damage to others because that only makes themselves look relevant.
Oh,
That's
and that's
spot
exactly
on.
what's occurring here.
Now, I'm going to say this, Duck.
Yes, you can say
These
this.
two
By the way,
things.
you're very handsome.
What?
You
What?
just look very handsome. You're very handsome.
I tell you what, Duck. You're starting to make me. You're starting to make me go firm. Sitting here, you've aroused me. Not often the great Duck gives out free. These two things are irrelevant, right? They're not linked,
We'll get the
but I'm
point.
just going to mention them anyhow. We were
Yes.
part, and don't just let me finish this. We were part, uh, Don Scott, Mike Sheehan, and I were part of the most disgraceful litigation when we discussed Nicky Winmar lifting his jumper about whether it was
Yes.
to do with the skin colour or his overweight torso at the time. The person who took the photo, Wayne Ludley, lied about Scott Newman, and we sued him. So moving on. Nicky Winmar is up for the umpteenth time in court and might face jail time. Here's my
When?
question.
When? Hang on. When's this? What are you talking about? I haven't read this.
Well, he assaulted a taxi driver. What? He assaulted two people. So the producer says up here is holding the towel
Is
over
that
the
the
top
beautiful
of the
Sue?
puns.
Is
You
that the
can see
beautiful
me.
Sue?
Yes. Anyhow, this is my point. The media are so cowardly and they're squibs. Why the AFL rushed to put up a statue of Nicky Winmar outside the Optus Oval in Perth, saying, pointing to his chest, which a lot of people thought it had nothing to do with skin colour. We on the podcast said if that's what Winmar says it was about, that was what it's about. We got fined $100,000 for even discussing it. What I'm asking you now is, if you can ban Warwick Capper for 5 years for an aside up in a box, or you can ban a Collingwood fan for writing a tongue-in-cheek.
Warwick should just be banned because of his head.
If the AFL can ban Warwick Capper for 5 years, and the Collingwood fan who tongue-in-cheek said that the Carlton players have gone missing and there'll be an impending investigation of the murder of the coach, the Coppers took that just as a joke, a tongue-in-cheek, but the AFL banned him for 5 years. How about they ban Nicky Winmar from going to any AFL game and taking his statue down from how many times? Why don't the media get onto stuff like this? And because they're just squibs. They are with
They
pig's eyes that never look up, a pig's snout that
they
knows
just
only
well
mud,
they
and a pig's
well they
brain
just
that only knows the sty.
they just go to the same people, Sam. Those who sell papers. You are one of
Those that what?
those. Sell papers. Unfortunately, some people don't sell papers and some do.
But I'm talking about the consistency. You've got the AFL who dealt out suspensions of an end of year revelry and merriment from the Greater West Sydney. The head of the Andrew Dillon looked down the barrel of a camera with those cow eyes and said it's the most disgraceful thing he's ever seen, and he apologises profusely for people dressing up as various people at an end of the year function after the grand final. Why wouldn't they come out and say, we are taking down the statue, this is not a role model, and we're banning him for 5 years from going to any AFL. If you can do it for Kappa and the bloke who wrote the letter of Collingwood, why doesn't someone insist on that?
I, I, I can. You can't disagree, Sam.
What? Oh well,
No, I can't.
that'll be called racist.
No,
That
no,
is
I
just
can't.
even-handed.
No,
This
I'm
is
not
the
talking about
thing that
Nicky Wim. I'm talking about common sense in general in a lot of things that we do or we don't do. People have made livelihoods, Sam, of writing about you, writing about me, and those very people that write about you and me, and I'm not going to give them credit. I'm not going to give their names credit, but those people who make
Can you
livelihoods
hear
of,
me?
yes,
There's a bloke mowing the lawn just next to the van here. Oh,
it's not, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. No, but the livelihood of people that make livings off writing about you and writing about me and writing about everyone else, they live off the misery of their own insecurities and their own everything that's going on in their lives. So, or I can hear it now. It's
do you
coming through
think
now. So
Caroline
go out.
Wilson will? Do you think Caroline Wilson will actually have a comment about Nicky Winmar and his disgraceful behaviour?
No, she won't. No, she won't. Because you know why? Because it'll come. Because there'll be a backlash to that. Unlike if she pops you or
Because
right.
people are just
Correct.
cowards.
Correct. Anyway, I'm going for it.
Has Tess actually ever chatted to you about your vanity and just, do you think we can?
I might. I think. I
Yes,
think I might.
you look like you're about to breastfeed me.
I might go for it. I've been
Duck,
working. I've had a few chest days. I might.
this is the most disjointed podcast we've ever done, but I tell you what, it's been great, Duck. And
I'm about to go for a swim. That's why I'm just taking the gear off. Look, see that?
all right, well, Duck, we're leaving you at the Holiday Inn somewhere in Asia, and
Yes. Yes.
all the best. And I hope if they give you another cake, at least, is that what they're doing? You're in a Buddhist country, are you? All right, Duck, we're signing off. Sue, come down
Love
off the
you.
roof. Duck. Look,
Love you.
see, you can't see me now. She was holding a towel over the sun. Oh, thank you, Duck.
See.
Can't see a thing.